Shit, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. First episode of 2020. Welcome to Lost in the Dark 2020, motherfuckers. Welcome, friends. Welcome, metalheads. Welcome all. Please join us in the crypt for another year of getting lost. We thank you so much for joining us. This first episode of the year is going to be a solo one. For me, it's just me, Burton, tonight in the crypt. Shit. What are we at? Episode 112? 113? I don't even know what episode we're on. All I know is that it is like almost 2 in the morning on Tuesday, January 14th. Early morning, January 14th. So, first episode of the year we had... Holy shit. It's 2 weeks into the year already. We did put out a review, a couple dark reflections and stuff like that. But we did have a couple weeks off there. Had to, all of us, members of Lost in the Dark podcast had some things to sort in our lives before we could jump back into it. But now we are back and we're going full force. I'm doing this episode tonight. Got another one coming with Aaron tomorrow. Lots of exciting things coming up. This past weekend, though, I tell you, hold on, take it to clear the throat. Take a drink of this rum. This past weekend was pretty interesting. We almost had up here in Michigan. There was talk of an ice storm. Now, Jesus, let me get this microphone right. Sorry. So, anyone who listens to this who does live in Michigan, you know. But those of you that may not, in 2013, we had an ice storm here, and it was crazy. Like, it was to the point, it was like flash freezing. So, like, everything was freezing, like, instantly. And, like, tree branches were breaking off and breaking power lines. It was super, super cold outside. It was, like, 2 days before Christmas. Half the fucking city didn't have... city of Lansing didn't have... way more than just here in Lansing. But just for example, half the fucking city of Lansing didn't have fucking power for Christmas and for 2 weeks in the Arctic fucking chill. Like, it was absolute mayhem. There was great concern this past weekend of that happening again. In fact, to the point where anyone who follows us on Instagram, you know that we were supposed to be attending Oigs Fest 4 at Mac's Bar in Lansing on Saturday night, featuring the likes of motherfuckers like, I think Throne was supposed to be there, Iron Mountain, and of course our dear, dear friends Recorruptor, and many, many, many more. It was supposed to be a big, big, big festival of some unbelievable local metal acts here in Michigan, all here in Lansing. It was going to be an all-day event from like 3 till midnight. Everyone was really looking forward to it, and they canceled it because of the fear of the ice storm. Turned out to be nothing. It turned out to be absolutely nothing. Now, at the same time, though, I kind of understand the fear because they were hyping it up and I was nervous because, okay, so for the last ice storm, I didn't, and I think Preston and I have told this story on the podcast before, but Preston and I were actually together. It was like 2 or 3 days before Christmas or something like that. And for whatever reason, him and I were out at his parents' house in Sinclair, like out near Sinclair Shores, Michigan. Near there. Not there, but near there. The ice storm literally didn't reach that far. And so we're all the way out there. And I literally remember him and I, we rolled up a joint and we went out to his car to smoke it, and we were listening to Coast AM on the radio. So that means it was after 1 a.m. So we're sitting there listening to Coast AM, smoking, and fucking we're both on our phones looking at Facebook and seeing like all of our friends and everybody being like, holy fucking shit, this ice storm's crazy, power's out, blah blah blah. I hear trees snapping, like a tree fell on my house, like all this crazy shit. And we're just sitting there. We were literally out in the car in t-shirts and jeans. Like it was like in the, upper 30s, lower 40s probably where we were. Like it really wasn't that bad out. So we were just sitting there like, what the fuck? We didn't get what was going on. And the posts that really got me were Aaron, my co-host. His posts were like crazy, like saying like I'm hearing tree branches outside my house. I think he even said a tree. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I think he even said a tree fell on his house or something like that, but it didn't cause that much damage. I don't know. But we'll talk to him. But yeah, so it was legitimately crazy. And the house that I'm currently living in during that storm lost power for like a week. And so, I was nervous. And, it was a real bummer that the Oigs Fest got canceled. That was supposed to be the first show of 2020. I know Recorruptor was really looking forward to it, and it really kind of bummed all them out that it got canceled. It bummed all of us out. But we look forward to the reschedule. I will certainly be attending, whatever the rescheduled date is. But hats off to all the bands that were supposed to play that night. You know what? Here, let me pull this up. I'm gonna pull it up because it deserves, the respect because it was such a great fucking thing, that I was really, really looking forward to, and I know all the bands were too. Oigs Fest 4, the return of Oigs. It was originally scheduled for January 11th at 3 p.m. It was Hordes, Grave Moth, Teething, Iron Mountain. Those are some bad motherfuckers right there. Pan, P-A-N. I don't know them. Brutal Party, Hakori, Throne, the baddest motherfuckers. Locust Point, From Blue to Gray, Wormfoot, the motherfuckers themselves, Recorruptor opening for the Rock and Roll Bad Guys. So Recorruptor was literally like fucking almost co-headlining that shit. Like holy fuck. Man, I'm bummed about that one. I am bummed, and I know everybody else is too, but it's okay. It's okay. Shout out to all those bands. Shout out to Max. And we're looking forward to the rescheduled date for sure. But Recorruptor's got a show coming up this Friday, I believe, at the Sanctuary in Detroit. Be sure to check that out. Definitely check that out. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube, all of the above. They have a lot of great things coming in a very short amount of time. Trust me. So stay tuned. But yeah, it's definitely a bummer, but we look forward to the rescheduled date, and I hope to be able to see them this Friday in Detroit. I'm hoping to be able to make it to that one. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But yeah. Onward. Reason why I was so worried about the potential of the ice storm and losing power. So, fucking the reality is if we lose power, everything's okay. Like we're all good. Like we can make things work. We can go. We've got places we can go, things like that. Pardon me. My worry personally, hold on one second. Let's fucking, where are we? We're like 10 minutes into this shit. We got to get this party started, all right, motherfuckers? Hold on. We got a little drinky poo. We got a little Scooby Dooby. What do you want from me? It's 2020, motherfuckers. Get right. So part of the reason why I was so worried about the ice storm, honestly, was losing power. And losing power is not that big of a deal for me, personally, as an individual, but it is a big deal for my pet. And for long-time listeners of the podcast, you may or may not know, I have a very, very special reptile, who requires very, very specific climate conditions. She is a Philippine sailfin dragon. Sailfin dragon. Hydrosaurus postulatus is the scientific name. She I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Sailfin dragons and bats are probably my favorite animals on the planet. They are just, to me, beautiful, majestic, mysterious, and stunning all at the same time. The first time I ever saw a sailfin dragon, I've told this story before, I don't care. The first time I ever saw a sailfin dragon was actually in Wisconsin, a place that I often make fun of on this podcast. We were there. I was on vacation with some friends and a girlfriend at the time. We went to the Wisconsin Dells, which is like a water park thing area. I honestly, what it felt like to me was like kind of like a small Michigan town with like a bunch of big ass water parks around it. Like that's really kind of all it felt like to me, at least. However, water parks, but also other attractions as well. You know, it's a tourist spot, so you got your haunted, like, fake haunted locations. You got your go-karts, you got your thises and that's. One of the thises and that's was a like reptile house, right? So I wanted to check it out. So we go. And it was fantastic. Saw a bunch of gators. Saw like some two-headed fucking turtles. Two-headed snakes. Some caimans. Pardon me. All kinds of shit. Like lots of cool shit, alright? I fuck with you not. Okay, how do I describe this? The exhibit... You walk in, and the room is like a horseshoe. So you walk in on one end of the horseshoe, and then you go around, right? And there's exhibits on the right, which are all different, snakes, gators, this and that. But on the left is just, like in the middle, creating the middle of the horseshoe, is just this, just one giant tank of a bunch of, I think they were baby caimans or something, and you can spend I don't remember how much it was, $5-10 on like a bag of meat, and fucking there's these little tubes you can put the meat in, and you can feed the baby crocodiles. We did that. It was pretty cool. So they take up the middle of the horseshoe, but the outer ring of the horseshoe all the way around to the exit is, crazy shit. Fucking two-headed turtles, two-headed snakes, albinos, fucking caimans, fucking, all kinds of wild shit. Okay. So we get in through the first and we go right around, like, imagine literally walking the horseshoe, okay? You go all the way in, you go around the loop. The second, like, you take one step around the loop to the right, off, like tucked away in the corner of the room, all right, is this one exhibit. It's maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet wide by about 7 feet tall. And I look in there and I look at something that I thought was impossible. Like, I literally was looking at a dinosaur, like a living dinosaur. Like, that's the only way I could, like, my eyes were seeing. Like, I felt like I was looking at a Bigfoot or a Dogman. You know what I mean? Like I, I had no idea this creature existed, and I felt like I was looking at something out of its time and something that was just unbelievable and absolutely majestic. Took my breath away. And I looked at the fucking tag on the exhibit and it said Sailfin Dragon. And we left it. And it was crazy too, because like everyone else in my group had kind of walked on, and I was like the only one that noticed that exhibit in the whole group, in the whole group of friends that I was in, and I like was just entranced. I like it has. Okay, if you Google search it, you can go to images. You'll see what I mean. It literally has like a sail fin coming up off of its tail, and when I was looking at it and it was making eye contact with me, it felt like almost like a raptor. Like it felt like intelligent, like it was learning off of me or something. And it just absolutely like blew me away. And we left, and I think I don't even remember if it was like on our way home. I think it was on our way home that I started Googling it, and I started absorbing as much information as physically possible, and I learned that what it was a Philippine Sailfin Dragon. These are native to the Philippines, the United States. They used to be popular pets in the United States, but the United States stopped trade with the Philippines in the late 90s, and since then it's only been possible to purchase these animals as pets from breeders. At least in North America. And in North America, at the time that I was searching for one, there were only four breeders in North America. Currently, there are only 2 or 3. And by North America, I mean the United States and Canada. I'm not aware of any breeders in Mexico. Or Central America. But yeah, like it was, once I got home, it became like this obsession, and that's something I wanted to talk about tonight. Obsessions, like that's something. I don't know. Like it's obsessions and things but obsession in the way of fascination too. Like I think it's a quality. Like it's something that's in me. Like when I get into something, I get all into it. You know what I mean? Like the one of my favorite quotes, the greatest documentary in my opinion ever made is Metal: A Headbanger's Journey. And it tells the story brilliantly of heavy metal. And there's a quote in that documentary from Rob Zombie that we've quoted many times on this podcast. And that quote is, "You never meet the guy that was into Slayer for one summer. You only meet the guy that has Slayer carved into his chest." You know what I mean? That's what makes metal different than other forms of music. It's an obsession. It's a way of life. It's a whole thing. And that's part of what draws me to it, but it's also part of my personality, and that part comes out in other ways, and I think it does for a lot of other people too. So I wonder if a lot of people will relate to this, in that you kind of get obsessed with other things you get into. Of course, I'm constantly obsessed with metal. This podcasts in general, I literally listen to probably more than one podcast every single day since I've gotten into them. And that's been for, I don't know, at least 5 years now. 6. I have no idea, but at least 5. I know that for a fact. Um, but yeah, it just like obsessions and like things you get crazy into to the point where like I got so into this reptile, I found a breeder, like the top tier god level breeder in Florida. Shout out to Scott Corning, who I ended up purchasing a Sailfin Dragon from, who I own to this day. Her name is Malik, which is the horns, the devil, the word for the devil horns, the symbol that you make with your hands that Ronnie James Dio brought to heavy metal. And yeah, like she is, I love her so much. And I take as good care of her as physically possible. And that's what I was terrified about losing power. Because while I'll be fine, I don't think I would have to, like, she requires very specific conditions, you know what I mean? Now, during the last great power outage, the house that I'm currently living in lost power, but my parents' house didn't. So potentially I could have brought her there and set up a temporary enclosure and all that. And that would have probably worked if they didn't lose, if we had lost power and they did. But in any case, you understand the level of thought that was going into all this. Like, it really, if that ice storm had been as bad or worse than the 2013 one, it would have been legitimate, like, bad. You know what I mean? Like, thousands of people without power in sub-zero weather. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a big, big problem. So, on one level, I do genuinely understand the concern. On another level, it didn't happen. I kind of feel like everyone hyped it up way more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's the fact of the matter. Like, when you watch the news, the local news, okay, so the National Weather Service has specific categories of storms of this and that. But your local news, the fucking shit that they say, those are not official. Categories of, like, ice storms and stuff, I don't even know if those really exist. Like, literally, local news agencies make shit up. They're allowed to do that. They are allowed to make up names for storms, and they are allowed to make up categories and all that stuff. The only official one is the National Weather Service, because that's literally and here's the kicker. All the local news agencies, in terms of weather, get all of their data from the National Weather Service. So they get that data, and then they fucking make up they make up their own fucking storms and crazy shit to fucking get people in a frenzy. You know what I mean? Because it ramps up economy. If everybody thinks power's about to be out for 2 weeks, everybody's going to the store to stock up on everything, and then all of a sudden the power's not out for 2 weeks, and then all that happened is everybody just spent a lot of money, and it ramped up the economy for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing that happens. That's a real fucking thing that happens, and it's a real thing. Look it up. I swear to God, I'm not lying. That the fucking local news agencies make up their own shit, and the National Weather Service is the only one that actually has, like, legitimately classified fucking categories of hurricanes and tornadoes and fucking all the fucking shit. All these little fucking crazy made up name storms of all this and that the local news services do for the local storms that everybody has. That's all made up by that agency to fucking, you know, you know what I mean? It's viewers. They need viewers. It's still television. It's television in an era of dying television. So they need to fucking create excitement and shit like that to fucking keep people watching, keep people tuned in, get those views up on Facebook and on the news and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of the situation. And unfortunately, that's what this ended up being, and caused the cancellation of what would have been a really great concert. But ultimately was, in a sense, a legitimate concern, because had it turned out the way they were predicting, which I literally called 2 days in advance that it wouldn't happen, I was concerned about my lizard. I was really concerned about my dragon. But obsession, that's something that I was literally obsessed with. Like, I was researching those animals day and night for months and months. I corresponded with the breeder that I ended up purchasing Malik from for like 3 months before I purchased her. He literally like pretty much talked to me through building her enclosures and getting everything together, and it was a level of obsession that I had not experienced in a very long time up to that point. Hold on one second. But I don't know if it's just like obsession or just really getting into things. You know what I mean? And that's something. One of the podcasts that I've really gotten into lately is Let There Be Talk, the Dean Del Rey podcast. And one of the a really cool episode he had recently was where he had an episode on with his like former like boss at a Harley dealership he worked at. And they ended up working together at a lot of motorcycle dealerships and stuff like that. And they were just obsessed with motorcycles, and they talked about it and stuff like. And it's like on every level I could relate to them. Just about different things, you know what I mean? And I've never been obsessed with motorcycles, but I am kind of obsessed with motorcycles. I've never had one, but I've always wanted one, kind of a thing. And like to the point where I know exactly which one I want and stuff like that, like all this stuff. But it's just, yeah, man, like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a lot of people out there that just like get really into shit. Really into shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know. For me lately, personally for me, it's been I'm not going to lie to you. It's been leather jackets. Like, I had this when I was, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. I was out in Flint with Preston and my cousin, co-host, co-creator of Lost in the Dark podcast. We were out in Flint together, and we went into a pawn shop, and I found this leather biker jacket. Classic biker jacket with belt, you know, like I don't know, like Fonzie, you know what I mean? Like fucking like Bruce Dickinson, like in Iron Maiden, in Number of the Beast video, you know what I mean? Like the metal biker jacket, and it didn't have a tag on it, and it fit me perfectly, and it was like July. I fuck with you not. It was like literally the middle of the summer. Brought it up to the counter, and I was like, you know, I was a kid. I'd never bought anything at a pawn shop before. I'd never haggled for anything. And I was like, this doesn't have a tag. How much is it? And they're like, how much do you want to pay for it? I was like, I don't know. And they're like, how about $35? And I was like, okay. Because I had that. I knew I had that, at least $35. And this was like solid leather, like really good looking jacket. You know what I mean? And I bought it right there in July for $35. And years later, I would go back and do research on it and find out it was like, probably close to $150, $200 jacket. It's like, holy shit, I got an insane deal. And because that was like, I literally bought the jacket in a time before smartphones existed. And I wore that thing like crazy for a long time, long time. And then, like, I put it away, kind of brought it out every once in a while again, you know what I mean? Like, it was still in the rotation. But, I also used to wear, chains, wallet chain. And I kind of, like, put the wallet chains away, I kind of put the leather away. And it was kind of an identity crisis, to be honest with you. Like, it was like, I want, like, when you're a metalhead, you gotta understand, when you're a metalhead, you wear it, like, literally on your flesh, like, from tattoos to the clothes you wear, to your hair, to your facial, you know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of, like, metalhead looks, and it's what we do. It's a way of life. It's very important to us, and it's important to me. But at the same time, I don't know. Yeah. I gotta be honest. Hold on. Let me take a drink here. I gotta be honest. That's what this is. That's what this podcast is about. I was told repeatedly that I was not a very approachable individual. And that's why I probably wasn't meeting as many girls and things like that. And so I decided to kind of tone it down. I never stopped wearing the metal shirts. That's a line I wouldn't cross. But, all right, maybe I can stop with the leather. Maybe I can stop with the chains and this and that. And, But the farther that way I went, the less me that I felt. And since then, I actually did at one point get to a point where I was almost not wearing enough metal shirts. Enough. By enough, I mean 7 days a week. That's what I mean by enough. And the farther to there I got, the less me I felt. Since that realization of, like, this isn't me. Like, I don't fuck approachable. Fuck it all. I'm gonna be me, and whatever happens is whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it and that's that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it all. So the farther, so since then, like, I got to a certain point, realized this, and have been bouncing back since. And the leather jacket came back out, and at this point, like, it literally fit perfectly, but it's just like not even fuck 4. It's like 2.5 inches too short for me. Literally. Like, my torso, I'm a fucking weird ass shape. Like, I'm real thin, but, like, my torso's long. So, like, large is too short, but extra large is too wide. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking weird. And the crazy part is that on that my jacket, my original one, there was never a size tag, so I never knew what size it actually was, but I knew when I bought it, it fit me. I have pictures to prove it. Um so lately I have been on a hunt for a replacement. Basically an exact replacement. And by hunt and obsession, I mean I literally went back to the exact same pawn shop I got mine, original one, to check and see if they had another one. They didn't. And I went to a few more pawn shops in the Flint area that day. I didn't find any. And I went to some leather shops and biker shops and pawn shops here in Lansing. Didn't find any. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try eBay. And I actually, after 2 tries, I ended up finding one on eBay. And not only am I bringing back the leather, I'm bringing back the chains as well. Because it was just, it's one of these things like when I was here, and fuck, I don't even care if anybody takes this idea because I'm going to do it. And it's proof positive that I fucking talked about it on this podcast so I can reference it forever. But one day this will happen. I do not have any tattoos. But I've always wanted one. And by always wanted one, I mean I came up with an idea for one all the way back in high school. Fuck with you not. I turned 30 last year. Late. I've only been 30 for like 2 months. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, all this right now. Like I'm 30 now. And it's like I did the whole experimental as far as at least as much as I'm gonna experiment in my 20s. And now it's like I've gotten to the point where it's like fuck all of that. I just want what I want to like be. You know what I mean? Like I'm like I don't know. It's just I've gotten to the point where it's like I know no matter what there are certain things. And one of those certain things is that I'm metal. You know what I mean? Like metal is just so much to me. The music, the art. And one of the so since I was in fucking high school, I came up with this idea of a tattoo. And I knew back then because I saw, again, referencing Metal Headbanger's Journey, Ronnie James Dio is the one that brought the Malik to heavy metal, the Devil Horns. The Malik is what it's called. Again, the name of my Sailfin Dragon. So I want my tattoo idea is I want, and I don't even care that I'm saying this. I don't care if anybody steals it because there's reference here first. I don't care if you get it first. I'm going to get one eventually at this point 100%. That's the whole point of the story. What I want is fucking his devil horns, like like an image of literally Ronnie James Dio's hand doing the devil horns on the shoulder with like a clasp and chain, like a clasp, like around the wrist, and chains coming down the sides. And in the chain links, I want my favorite band names in the proper fonts and all that stuff, all the way down the arm. And I literally had that idea in high school back when I like wore chains, you know what I mean? And to this day, I still want it. So if you wanted something for like 12, 13, 11 years, I don't know, fucking, I think that's fucking time enough to where you should probably consider getting it. You know what I'm saying? That's not a spur of the fucking moment tattoo. That's something you thought about in high school and like years and years later, you still fucking want it. So I feel like that's a pretty good idea at this point. That I'm bringing back the chains, the leather. You know, it's just the fucking. I'm just talking to you people right now about what I'm experiencing turning 30 years old. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know why anyone would fucking care. But it's like, as a metalhead, you know, you just get to that point where it's like, that's what you got to fall back on. Is like the passion for this art form, this music, this thing, this community. And that's kind of all part of it in a sense. And I think a lot of metalheads can relate to an obsessive personality. Not to the point of unhealthy, you know what I mean? Like, I hope not. I mean, maybe a little bit. Maybe you don't get as much sleep as you should because you're up late researching lizards, or you know what I mean, something like that, like I would, or leather jackets, or fucking, you know, whatever. I don't even know. Motorcycles, you know, CDs, where to buy them, you know, like mixers for your podcast if you're starting one, you know what I mean, or microphones. These are all things that I went down deep rabbit holes with, but at the same time, all for the better, all for the forward momentum, all for, you know, just things. These are all just things you end up being passionate. But that's really, is it obsession or passion? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's right there on that line. And yeah, I guess that's definitely something I've found in common with a lot of metalheads is deep passion. They're very passionate people, that's for sure. For better or worse, they are passionate people. Especially about their music. That's for goddamn sure. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to talk to you people tonight about that, about just kind of, you know, once you get to a certain point, you know, and you just fucking, it's like that's it from, you know, I'm done trying to be anything other than what I want, and that's it. It's self-actualization, I guess. I don't know. I think people maybe hit that at different times, and I'm hitting at least a version of it right now, and it's weird. But I don't know, maybe some of you were going through that too, and you can relate, I hope, in different ways even, because that would be awesome to hear from you. So if any of you got anything to share, please do. Reach out to us, lostinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram. These are all things we check on a very regular basis. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I wanted to kick off the year with you people, talk about some stuff like that, and, you know, also talk about kind of like the year started. I'm not going to lie, the last 2 weeks a little rougher than I was hoping, for sure. I kind of started a bit of a project back in like September that I was hoping would yield a little bit more now than it has, but we move on. We learn from our mistakes. Why do we fall down? To get back up and keep moving forward and to get better. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about kind of fucking like it's a new decade. It's 2020. It's weird to me because I just turned 30. I'm 30 in 2020. You know what I mean? It's fucking bizarre, but it just feels, you know, like I don't know how it feels for you, but I don't know. It's a bit of a fucking go time. It's go time. It's go time right now. It's go time for everybody. Let's fucking go. Like, do that thing. Get obsessed with the next thing. Start the thing that you want to start. Build that website on fucking whatever and fucking start doing what you want to do. Start a podcast. Start making music. Start building shit. Start making motorcycles. Get obsessed with the fucking reptile or whatever. You know what I mean? Get into something. Fucking passion. Get, that's what, I don't know. That's what drives me, at least. That's what drives me, definitely. The things I'm passionate about, things I enjoy doing, the things I genuinely like spending my time on. And, yeah. And the people that I enjoy spending my time with, of course. Yeah. These are the things to focus on right now. These are the things in these nothing short of crazy fucking times. These are the things that to focus on, that's for sure. So, yeah. That's going to be, you know what? I'm going to wrap this up. Holy shit. That's the first one. Wow. Anyone who just listened to me ramble there. Holy fuck. Anyone who just listened to me ramble there, I thank you so much for listening to this episode and getting lost with me tonight in the crypt. We got another episode coming right after this one with Aaron. He'll be back on the podcast, and we got more Dark Reflections coming soon, and just tons of more episodes. We'll be moving to video format hopefully very soon on YouTube, at the very least, and maybe get a new podcast host to get us out there a little bit more. Lots of exciting things coming in 2020, no question. It's going to be a huge year for metal. What are you looking forward to? Lamb of God, Devil Driver, Black Dahlia Murder, Mark Morton, fucking shit. Fucking shit, I can't even think of right now. Oh my god, Anthrax. God damn it. There's a ton more that I can't even think of off the top of my head right now. But so many. Metal's going to be huge in 2020. 2020 is going to be a huge year for fucking metal. I'm looking forward to so many things. What are you looking forward to the most right now? Let us know in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, reach out to us in any way, shape, or form. Instagram, Facebook, fucking YouTube, fucking iTunes, anything. Please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, that's it. That's it. There's the first one of 2020, everyone. And we're going to be hitting this one hard. We love you all to death. Raise your fucking horns. Bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. From the crypt, good night.